So we also have our aquatics bin. So in our aquatics bin, we have kind of a mixture of different types of resources. So one thing that we have here are something called a dichotomous key. So our dichotomous key here, we can use to kind of figure out what type of creatures we're looking at. It's a way we can identify creatures. There's a few different types of keys here depending on which freshwater area you're looking at. So one way that you can use these, even if you don't have the actual macroinvertebrates to be looking at for our dichotomous keys, is we have some samples in here of some different aquatic creatures that you guys will be able to take a closer look at. They're preserved in here, so they are real creatures, and you'll be able to try to identify these. Or we also have some flashcards in here to be able to practice identifying some of those different creatures that we see all over Washington in our freshwater. So we also have a binder here. This has some different types of activities, some suggestions of little field trips, things like that to do with your team to kind of understand a little bit more about freshwater ecology and other things like that. We have some goggles in here because we do have a test that you guys can do. So this here is our phosphate test kit. So getting a little sample of water from a lake or a stream, you can be able to do a little test here to see how much phosphate is in that water, which often comes from things like fertilizers, so it's really common around this area. Also, if you stop by maybe a lake or something like a dock at a lake or an ocean, you can use our Secchi disc here to check how clear or how turbid the water is. We have some instructions of how to use this in that binder. We've also got some other information. We have a little movie here for you guys to watch that talks all about the Salish Sea and the creatures in the Salish Sea. It's a little cheesy, but it's pretty fun, pretty informative. Some kind of for fun literature to talk about some of the important things for the people of the area in the Salish Sea. And then we also have, if you're visiting the beach, a little guide to look at some of those creatures, figure out what they are, learn a little bit more about them. And then my favorite is this big textbooks here. So this textbook here talks all about the different fish, different freshwater fish. So anything about salmon, for example, that you want to know, you can learn in here. Lots of great pictures, lots of great information. We've also got a couple more things in here, some other different tests to be able to do. We have some pH paper to look at acidity or how basic our water is. We have a conductivity probe, what the conductivity is in water. And last but not least, a nice thermometer here to be able to look at in Celsius or Fahrenheit, different temperature, thinking about kind of what that means for our water. The Washington State Envirothon is an annual natural resources competition in which high school youth demonstrate their knowledge and problem-solving skills on topics of wildlife, soils and land use, forestry, and aquatics.